Hey guys, Rusty over here. Now you know I don't make talk videos very often. I really only make them if it's something I really care about or if I'm pissed off. Right now, I'm pissed off because about 15 minutes ago, I read on Wowhead that Blizzard decided to buff Mythic Prophet Skitra's health by 40%, so that guilds, basically forcing guilds to see the wall mechanic that slowly walks across the room, because what was happening was, guilds and players were DPSing so hard that they were most of the times skipping the mechanic. Now, I'm going to get ahead of the comments here because I know what's going to happen, and in a way, you're correct. You're going to tell me, wow, first of all, this is only going to affect the Mythic Raiders, which, let's be honest, most people who play this game are not Mythic Raiders. You're correct, and you're also going to say, yes, well, this change is dumb, don't worry, Mythic Prophet Skitra for most guilds is still going to be a complete joke to kill, and once again, you are correct. The reason why I am so upset is because this decision is just a stupid one, and it's being made by the same people that are designing Shadowlands, that are basically making you so you can't swap your Covenant abilities, and that's what's got me so annoyed. I feel like Blizzard makes decisions and they perceive these problems with the game that don't exist. They exist in their friggin' minds. For example, let's look at Mythic Prophet Skitra. Why is it a problem that guilds were skipping? They were doing so much damage because they got the gear to do it. Why is that a problem that they were skipping a mechanic? At the beginning of this raid, most guilds, like not in the top 200 guilds, even then, most guilds were probably seeing the wall mechanic because they were under geared. They were seeing the fresh raid. I would have been fine if they buffed, if people were skipping at the start of the raid tier and then they buffed it, but at the start of the raid tier, most people were seeing the wall. And as the raid went on, my guild, most guilds, got the gear, they got the corruption gear to do DPS and make the boss easier, and sometimes that means skipping mechanics. This is not the first boss this has happened on, guys. So why, I don't understand why that's an issue. It's a perceived issue in Blizzard's mind, and it's just not. It's not a real issue. It's the same thing with Covenants. I just don't understand. And this gets me thinking back to the removal of Guild Master Loot, another perfect example of when Blizzard perceives a problem that doesn't exist. According to them, all of these evil guilds were abusing the master looting system and stealing all the loot for the guild masters and the officers and the guild master's girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever. People were abusing master loot according to Blizzard. Guys, most of the times, that is simply just not the case, at least in the Mythic raiding environment. Hell, even in the Heroic raiding environment. I used to be in a Heroic raiding guild with a Guild Master Loot, and that simply wasn't the case. Now, sure, of course, there's going to be some guilds that will abuse Master Loot. Of course, you know what you do if that's a problem. Type /G quit, you leave the guild, you find a new one. And yeah, well, back to trials not getting loot. You know why they don't get loot? Because they just joined the guild. They're a trial for a reason. Why would a trial get a piece of loot over a veteran who's been in the guild for what, 3.5 years, 2 years? A long time. Now, I've never heard of guilds just disenchanting gear and not giving trials at all. If there's a piece of loot that a main raider doesn't need, yeah, then trials get loot. Trials get loot in my guild all the time. Well, let me hand it out with personal loot when loot is traded, no, because I get rid of guild master loot. Again, I don't... It's just a problem perceived by Blizzard that simply wasn't there. I also feel like Blizzard doesn't really understand how decisions like that, like forced personal loot, makes players feel. Now, in some Mythic raiding guilds, you have to trade your loot that you looted from the boss. If you could trade it, you need to trade it so the guild, the loot council, or the officers basically, can decide who's a better upgrade for. I don't think Blizzard understands how bad that makes someone feel. You loot the boss, and you get the gear. It's an upgrade for you. Maybe you can't even trade it, you know, because you can't trade a higher item level, but say it's a lower item level piece with good corruption, it's an upgrade for you. You know how bad it must feel to have to trade that piece of loot away? I don't think Blizzard thinks about these decisions and how players feel about this. Now, luckily, I'm in a guild where if it's an upgrade for me, officers are all cool, they let you keep the loot, but I'm sure in some Mythic raiding guilds, that's simply not the case. Maybe that affects the higher end, but again, I feel like that echoes down to decisions like the Covenants not being able to switch to abilities. I don't think Blizzard understands how it makes players feel. Tell me right now, in the comments, if you want, how many of you get declined from pugs, whether it be Mythic Plus, raids, PvP, I don't know, because your class is perceived as shit even though it might not be? I'm looking at you, shamans. Shamans are pretty good, by the way. I invite them to raids. But I've seen, you know how many amount through the course of BFA, hell, even in Legion, you know how many Shamans I've seen get declined from Pug raids, Mythic Plus, just because they're perceived as shit? It's gonna happen with the Covenants, guys. It's going to happen. There will be a shit Covenant. It won't be perceived as shit. It will be shit. And if you get picked that Covenant, chances are you're gonna get declined from most groups. You know how bad that's going to make you feel? I don't think Blizzard understands that. Alright, I feel like I went on a bit of a long enough rant. Now, again, I'm sure I'm going to get some hate for this in the comments, because, again, Mythic Prophet Skitra being buffed, if you really just look at just that, it's not a big deal. This only affects the Mythic Raiders, and it's still going to be a joke of a boss to kill. My point is that it's the same people making those decisions that are designing the next expansion, and I don't understand the thought process behind some of these decisions. I don't get it. Anyways, guys, feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know what you think, and feel free to like the video if you agree with me. Heck, you can even dislike it if you don't. I'm sure you'll do that anyways. And I'm so pissed off. You know what? I'll say it anyways because I do it in every video. Halo 3 is the best Halo. There's no arguing it. Halo 2 second best Halo. Halo 3 is the best. Oh man, I really hope they make it so you can swap Covenant abilities in Shadowlands. That's honestly where this is going. Anyways, guys, until next time. Bye-bye.